Vice Project Doom is another great classic for the NES that not many people got to play back in the day. Its striking resemblance to the original Ninja Gaiden in its sword-swinging, projectile-throwing platforming, storyboard cutscenes, and yes, the bird. The fucking 3-point alive, peck you to death, screw you up in your jumps, bird! You play as Jonathan Hart, a tough-as-nails cop tearing up the mean streets, beating down the crooks, and staring evil right in the face. He's so badass, his car has a license to kill. He takes his vacations in a war zone, and there was no one more badass to be the final boss than himself. And to survive these mean streets, you need the essentials: a 44 Magnum gun, hand grenades, and a laser sword. Technically, it's a quote-unquote laser whip, but I don't buy it. Okay, my throat's starting to hurt now. Now, what makes Vice so interesting is that it not only has one mode to play, but three. The first being your basic platformer. The second is your overhead driving stage, like Spy Hunter. And the third is a first-person shooter, like Operation Wolf. Vice was made to capitalize on Ryu's growing popularity, but interesting enough, the developers at American Sammy decided to do a different approach. I felt as if they wanted a game with qualities that ran parallel with what gamers liked in Ninja Gaiden, but at the same time give it that unique touch to distinguish itself from the rest. Now, the platforming stages are your typical left-to-right scenario, mowing down mutants, mercenaries, robots, ninjas, and yes, killer clowns. The select button allows you to change weapons at any time. The sword lets you get up and close and personal with enemies. The gun has a limited range, but useful in boss fights when you want to stay out of their range. And the grenade has a lasting damage effect, but it arches so you have to time it just right. In the driving stage, you're chasing down your perp on the highway, and not even slow-moving grandmas or construction codes are going to impede your thirst for justice. In this stage, you have free roam to move in 4 directions. The B and A button both fire bullets, but there are no upgrades unlike Spy Hunter. You can change the speed of your car with the shift key. When your car gets damaged, it will momentarily swerve out of control. It's a minor annoyance, but better than losing a life. And what's a cop game without a good shootout? These first-person real shooting stages are reminiscent of Freedom Force, only without the light gun compatibility. Instead, you have a cursor moved by the D-pad, and the B button for the gun and A for grenade. I strongly advise using the grenade as it has a wider range of attack, and clearing out most enemies on the screen cause it can get hectic. Vice has a ton of variety, not just in gameplay, but in level design. Each level follows a theme consistently, with obstacles and challenges fitting that theme perfectly, like in level 2 as you run across crumbling I-beams in the construction zone, or in level 5 as you had to jump from log to log up a waterfall, or in level 9 as you had to hack layers of mutant flesh. Ugh. Also, I'm loving the finishing touches on this game, like how the city's reflection in the water on stage 2, or how lightning in the background blacks everything out for a split second. Sammy was really trying to make this game fresh and fun and entertaining to watch. With respect to Ninja Gaiden, it is much more forgiving. Maybe a little too much. Boss fights are a breeze once you figure out their pattern, and there's an overabundance of items. Enemies keep dropping ammo, there's always a health item at the end of each substage, and collecting 100 coins gives you a 1-up. But my biggest gripe is the story. It jumps a lot.
Well, you start off chasing some bad mutated man on the highway, and it gives a suit to another suspect near the scene. You head to South America and find your best friend, who's supposedly dead, but isn't, dying in your arms. There's some chick warns you your girlfriend was kidnapped, and you start pumping lead to every bad guy you meet, only to realize the last boss was your girlfriend. Totally take it on Slaughterhouse, by the way. Everyone's like, no! And that shit really hits the fan, and you bust down evil HQ's door, only to find evil Honcho is your older, more evil, more identical clone brother, something. Leading your destiny to become a new evil head honcho, replace your current head honcho. Then you're like, screw it, I'm gonna kick your ass. Bring it on. Of course, you win and beat Big Brother's clone's fake ass. You're like, it's over, sucker. And dead that guy like, ha, you're a sucker. My clone's gonna find and pawn you in a sequel. Ha, there is no sequel. What? Oh. No!
Man, what a mouthful. It's a shame a sequel was never made. Out of all their games for the NES, Vice was the best that Sammy had to offer. Even Nintendo Power backed this up, stating, "The 11-stage sci-fi adventure game has lots of action to offer. The variety of the stages also make for an enjoyable play. Next time you fire up your NES, keep this one in mind." Constant delays had landed the ill-fated game a release date for fall of 1991, the same time for Nintendo's new 16-bit machine, the Super Nintendo, and Sega's new cool blue mascot, Sonic the Hedgehog. Vice never stood a chance. And the Mel Gibson lookalike cover didn't help either. A difficulty setting could have guaranteed some replay value, and adding 1 or 2 more shooting or driving stages wouldn't hurt, but overall, it's a great game. Far from monotonous and fun to play. And that's it for this episode, and just so I won't leave you in the dark, here's a hint to my next review.